Yo, what is going on? We are getting straight to it. We got to get to it instantly. Micah Parsons has been traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers in one of the biggest trades I've ever seen in my life. And when it comes to the NFL, here's my thing. I think that Jerry Jones thinks this is the Herschel Walker trade. No, this is the Luka Doncic trade. This is both from Dallas. This is one of the most. This is one of the worst situations I've ever seen in my life. You could have just paid this guy what he wanted, and he would have been happy to be on the team, and your team was going to be good this year. You think that Dak Prescott, who is aging, who is injury prone, not getting any younger, you think that he is juiced to see that they got those 2 first-round picks? Do you think that's what it is? Do you think he's like, well, in 3 years we're going to be awesome? No. What the fuck? You think that CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs and all these guys are looking at that and going, man, that was a fucking hell of a trade, Jerry. No, they're looking at that and they're going, what the fuck are we doing? That guy was the heart and soul of our defense. That guy was the reason that we were winning games. I'll never understand shit like this. All that Jerry Jones had to do was not be a dumbass, and this was going to be all sorted out. The Cowboys could have, maybe won 10 games this year. I picked them to go under because I didn't think Micah was going to play this year. It turns out that Micah is playing for the fucking Packers this year. Go Pack, go! Holy shit! I'm not a Packers fan, but I will say that I spend a lot of time rooting for the Packers in my life. When the Raiders sucked, I was always a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. I can't believe it. It's one of the most ridiculous trades I've ever seen. I think that it's so stupid. They got Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. They're first-round picks from the Packers who are going to be in the playoffs. You're going to get like the 23rd pick, the 26th pick. I don't get it. I'm swapping all of my Packers picks. NFC North, I have 3 playoff teams. Packers, Bears, Lions, Vikings missed now. Cowboys are going to win 6 games. I think the Cowboys are going to suck. I cannot believe that this trade actually went through. I think that it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. We've seen 2 of the 3 worst things to ever happen to the city of Dallas in the last year and a half. Luka Doncic and Micah Parsons are only beat by one event that's happened in Dallas. And I'm shocked, man. I'm in shock. I haven't spent enough time to really get, like, it's been like 10 minutes since he got traded. I cannot believe it. Jerry Jones is an idiot. I don't care that they got 2 first-round picks. I don't care that they got Kenny Clark, who's obviously good. Micah Parsons is a generational player. He, in his rookie year, looked like he was going to be Lawrence Taylor 2.0. I don't know if I'd call him that, but he's one of them ones, and I cannot believe that he's not on this team anymore. My outlook on this for the Dallas Cowboys is the locker room has to be pissed. The coach has to be pissed. If I'm Brian Schottenheimer, you're just setting me up to fuck me. I cannot believe that you're just throwing a lob to just screw me over for the season. Like, it's just, all right, so we're going to have a terrible defense, a terrible run game, and a GM who's constantly in the news, constantly in drama. Cut my chin when I was shaving. I didn't think I was going to be very visible on here. But I'm shocked. For the Packers, this is an awesome trade. The one problem with the Packers this year was that defense. I mean, Kenny Clark getting shipped out, whatever. He's obviously a great player. At the end of the day, he's a defensive tackle. And if you have Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary, that to me, my original take was this is not enough. Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary to me was not enough to make up for the lack of a great secondary that they were going to have. And I thought that the Packers were going to be like a 9-win team this year because I didn't see that defense being any good. But if you have Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary rushing the quarterback, now you can make up for that lack of secondary outside of Xavier McKinney, especially now that you lost Jair. I think that this is a fantastic move for the Packers. If I was the Packers, I would be trying to find anything I could at this point, maybe to trade for a corner. I would be trying at this point. If you're going all in, fuck it. And like I said, I wouldn't be betting my house on Matthew Golden to be a wide receiver 1. But if this Micah Parsons trade works out well, and then you go ahead and you have Matthew Golden turns out to be a wide receiver 1 maybe, and then Jordan Love has finally has a consistent season where he doesn't get hurt at all the whole year and is nothing but great. I mean, this team could be in the Super Bowl this year. I think I'm not picking that, but I think they are going to be I think they're NFC Championship bound. I think that division just got a whole lot harder. I think I might actually take the Packers to win the NFC North now. I'm truly shocked. I cannot believe what's going on right now. It's fucking ridiculous. This is so stupid. You got 2 firsts in Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark is a good player. You got a fucking defensive tackle, who of course defensive tackles matter. Not as much as edge rushers, obviously, but you got Kenny Clark and 2 firsts for a guy who now is going to make more money per year than Patrick fucking Mahomes. I can't fathom the fact that this had to happen just because the Cowboys didn't want to pay this guy his money. All the other guys from his draft class got paid their money who were as good as him. I'm truly in awe. Lack of words at this point. This is the Luka Doncic trade. This is the Babe Ruth trade. You have fucked your organization. This is the trade for Trey Lance. This is a fucking atrocious trade. I don't care if those 2 first-round picks turn out to be the 2 greatest players in the history of football. You can't predict that happening. You cannot predict that happening, right? So at the end of the day, you got the value of 2 first-round picks in Kenny Clark for a top 5 to 10 defensive player in the NFL who's super young and is expected to probably be a top 5 depoy candidate this year. It's really one of the dumber things I've ever seen, and this all came on behalf of Jerry Jones not wanting to speak to David Mulugeta, which I think is just shameful for the organization at this point. I think that it's truly, truly ridiculous. This is one of the biggest flops from a team I've seen in a long time. This is a great job by the Packers. I would have loved to see him go to the Packers, the Bills, the Raiders. You see that new shelf in the back? We got the John Madden signed football. You know what I mean? We got a lot of shit going on back there. I will maybe give you guys a full tour of that at some point, but we don't got enough time to talk about that. We got to do some more Micah Parsons talk. That Packers defense now, in my opinion, just went from being a weak defense to immediately being a good defense. And if Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons both have great seasons, they could be a great defense. I don't see a path for any other team winning the NFC North now. The Lions could have an awesome year and still not win the division. This could be just like last year in the NFC North, where you have a team win 14 games and a team win 13 games, or I think it was 14 and 15 games, and you could have a 14-win team finish second in this division. This is now, in my opinion, if not the toughest, right there. It was already one of the toughest divisions in football. To me, I was going to say the AFC West was harder because I thought my Raiders were going to be good this year. But, man, if the Vikings are even acceptable this year, the NFC North is going to be fucking crazy, man. I can't believe that it happened. This feels like the Luka trade. If I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, if I'm a Dallas sports fan, man, I would be sick to my stomach seeing this. If I was a fan of the Cowboys and the Mavs, and these are the trades that have occurred in the last year, oh my God, I'd be becoming something else. I'd be a Houston fan. I'd be a Rockets fan and a Texans fan in no time. I think this is a huge flop from Jerry Jones, who thinks that he's like a gunslinging, wheeling, dealing, football genius. He's lost it. He's in his 80s. He's not that anymore. He maybe was back in the 90s when they were winning Super Bowls, and you know what I mean, he was winging deals out to people left and right, and he was trading people, and he was making all these great moves. He's not that anymore. Brian Schottenheimer sure as hell is not shit. Jimmy Johnson, Brian Schottenheimer sure as hell isn't that. And I'm just truly, genuinely, like, I have a friend who's a Cowboys fan. I'm almost sad for him. I fucking hate the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys with a passion. This almost makes me sad for him, because this I can imagine if they traded Max Crosby right now. This is ridiculous. I think it's one of the worst trades I've ever seen. And this could age like shit, you know what I mean? Like I said, those 2 first-round picks could turn into the 2 greatest players in the history of football. But at the end of the day, you're not grading it on what those picks could turn into, or else every trade would look different. What you're grading it on the value of 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. I think that immediately Jerry Jones probably made this trade and thought, yeah, this is the Herschel Walker 2.0. We're gonna pull this off. We're gonna start ringing off having all these great teams. Here's the fucking problem. Dak Prescott is 30 something. CeeDee Lamb is young, but Dak Prescott's 30. He's not getting any younger here. He's got a couple years left probably, but you need to be a win now team when you're paying Dak Prescott top of market, you're paying CeeDee Lamb top of market. You were going to be paying Micah Parsons top of market, but you're not now. I mean, I think that it's ridiculous. You're going to have a super high payroll for a team that I think could win 6 games this year. The running game is going to suck. The defense is really the Cowboys, I think now might have a bottom 5 defense in the NFL this year. I feel like I can't talk enough about how stupid this was. I really can't. I don't know. I'm like at this point waiting for more news to drop. I'm expecting there to be something. Let me get a sip. If anyone deserved this, it was Dallas fans, but I gotta say, the city of Dallas got to be going through it. This year, your team is only relying on CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, and George Pickens. And that's it. That's what you got. You got Javonte Williams and some shitty defense. You have Trevon Diggs, who's going to get cooked. You have Deron Bland, who's going to get cooked. Jaron Kearse, who's getting cooked. I don't even know if he's still on that team. They still starting Leighton Vander Esch this year. This team is going to suck on defense. I really can't believe it. I guess we don't have to do the Jake Ferguson, Woo! I don't think this team's going to be even close to 500. I don't even think they have a chance. I think, in all honesty, Jerry Jones, the fact that he negotiated with Micah outside of the CBA, which is truly illegal as fuck, ridiculous. I can't, he tried to negotiate with a guy who has an agent. Micah Parsons' job isn't to negotiate. His job is to play football. That's why he pays an agent, is to negotiate. Micah has been a complete and total consummate professional for his age. His age group, I would have expected people to be out there doing all kinds of dumb shit compared to what Micah did, which was be nothing but a professional. He didn't record a podcast and shit on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. He didn't do anything wrong. All the guy wanted was to get his money. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think that the guy who was 25 years old should have to be the man of higher morality when you have an 80-year-old man who's nothing but a seasoned veteran. And Micah Parsons is the guy who's the consummate pro. I think that Micah Parsons seems like such a solid guy. I'm not a Micah Parsons fan. I think that he's not that great against the run. I think that he's an unbelievable pass rusher who can be a bit inconsistent at times. That said, he's a decoy player. He's obviously was a big presence in the locker room. He's going to be a consistent decoy candidate for the rest of his career. He's universally loved by Dallas, from what I can tell. And Jerry Jones just goes, yeah, David Mulugheta said shove the contract up your ass. Yeah, you want to know why? Because you didn't negotiate with David Mulugheta. You tried to negotiate with the kid whose job is to play football, not to negotiate his fucking contract. David Mulugheta would be broke if we didn't have I don't know about broke, but he wouldn't be doing what he does, obviously, if the players negotiated for themselves. I think it's ridiculous. I think that Micah Parsons honestly just outclassed the Dallas organization as a whole. And it sounds weird because it's not a competition, but he just showed that he has more class and is more of a professional than the entirety of Dallas. Jerry Jones is done for. The Cowboys are done for. Brian Schottenheimer is going to get fired now. I guarantee you there's no way that Brian Schottenheimer ends up looking good now. Just completely screwed his coach. There's no chance that this team is good, which means there's no chance that Brian Schottenheimer is going to look good. The Dak contract is going to look worse. The CD contract is going to look worse. The George Pickens is going to look worse. I wasn't that high on this team anyway. I had them under because I didn't think Micah was going to play. I really cannot believe it. I think that this is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. The Cowboys now are going to suck, but at least you'll have 2 more draft picks in Kenny Clark, bro. At least you'll have Kenny Clark, right? Do you think there's a reason they were fine with trading Kenny Clark? Truly, really. Do you really deep down believe that they were just trading? They're like, fuck, man, we have to give up Kenny Clark. Shit. Kenny Clark's obviously a good player. He's not fucking Micah Parsons. Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks couldn't get you Micah Parsons on Madden. It really couldn't. I guarantee you right now, if you booted up your Madden franchise league, I don't think you could trade Kenny Clark and 2 firsts for Micah in Madden. This is fucking crazy. You literally, I don't think you, I think that the Cowboys would decline that trade. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I don't think I have anything else even to say here. I feel like it's just, I can't. It's fucking weird, man. We'll move on, I guess. I don't know if you guys saw Shiloh Sanders get waived after that dumbass shit that he did in the preseason. Dude kind of just, I really expected more. I really expected more from that. I expected him to be more of a pro. Funny enough, not a pro like he was going to be a great player, but I mean, dude, you know that you're a practice squad guy. You can't go around doing stupid shit. You're already, if you're Shiloh Sanders, you don't have the resume, you don't have the physical traits to be acting like this. Like, if Mike Evans goes and beats a guy's ass in the preseason, Mike Evans ain't going nowhere. You don't even have to be Mike Evans. If anybody who's like a known pro and a good player on a team already goes and does this, nobody cares. Shit, if Jeremy Chin, the Raiders safety right now, beat a guy up in the preseason, no one would care. We'd be like, well, he's fired up. But you already know there's a target on your back because the league clearly is not the biggest fans of the Sanders kids. First off, that's not me. There's no conspiracy against them. There's none of that. But clearly, they kind of think you guys are fucking dipshits. They think you guys aren't pros. They think you guys are immature. And then you go in and you start swinging at somebody in the preseason like a moron. It's just dumb. I can't believe that you get waived and now you're hoping the Packers sign you. Now you're hoping the Packers say, fuck it. We need secondary help. Let's take a shot on Shiloh. Sorry. I think that's ridiculous. I just think, like, could it have been dumber? Could you have done something dumber than to get yourself waived? Other things, speaking of the Sanders, Shedeur is QB3 now for the Browns. My Raiders traded for Kenny Pickett. If Kenny Pickett starts a game, I'm going to root for the Packers this year. But, I mean, it makes sense. Dylan Gabriel was good in the preseason, and so was Shedeur. At first, when Dylan Gabriel was hurt and Shedeur played great, I was like, maybe Shedeur should be, ahead of Dylan Gabriel. But obviously, Dylan Gabriel was drafted 2 rounds before him, was obviously thought of as being a better prospect. And then on top of that, they both played good in the preseason. So I think Joe Flacco is pretty much just cannon fodder. Joe Flacco is going to go in. The team's going to get trashed. They're going to get torched. And then Kevin Stefanski's going to say, I need to keep my job. So we're going to start Dylan Gabriel. And then Dylan Gabriel's probably going to get torched. And they're probably going to get whooped. And they're probably going to start Shedeur. And they're probably still going to get whooped. But this is going to be a, kind of like the Giants this year, in my opinion. This is going to be a, can I save my job? That's what I would call this. A can I save my job backup. Jackson Dart. Russell Wilson, after week 13, bring in Jackson Dart. Because he's going to say, Brian Daboll is going to say, I sure do like this job. So I'm going to bench Russell Wilson, bring in Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart shows some flashes, and we say, we're developing this guy. We're going to win a couple games. Next year, we build around him, and we're good to go. And I think that's what's going to happen with the Browns. I think the Browns are going to have Joe Flacco play a bunch of games, and he's going to suck. And then, actually, Joe Flacco's not even necessarily going to suck. The team is going to suck. And then they're going to pull Flacco and put in Dylan Gabriel. And then probably, even if unless Dylan Gabriel comes in, unless Dylan Gabriel comes in and just lights up the league, then I would assume that Shedeur will see some time also within the next couple weeks after that. So, I mean, say Joe Flacco makes it like week 8, Dylan Gabriel get like week 9 to like week 14, and then, Shedeur might get the last couple weeks, something like that. That's what I would expect. I think Shedeur has a good chance of getting real reps this year as a starter, or at least just getting some time, just getting more reps. Maybe not coming out and starting, but I think the people in the Browns organization are going to start to look at it as there's only one guy on this team who realistically is our quarterback in 2 years. I don't want to hate on Dylan Gabriel. I don't want to make it sound like I'm anti Dylan Gabriel. I hate to also kind of do a Nick Wright take here. I don't like tiny athletes. Dylan Gabriel standing next to Joe Flacco looked like me standing next to my little cousin. Like, Joe Flacco is like 6'5", monstrous dude. Dylan Gabriel looks like a fucking fourth grade or like a fucking eighth grader next to him. It's like, wow, holy shit. Like, there's a certain point where like you got to be able to see over a bunch of guys my height and my size. You need to be able to see around a bunch of big fat bastards. Can Dylan Gabriel see over the left tackle and the right guard? You know what I mean? I don't think so. And it sucks. It sucks because he's skilled. He gets the ball out quick. He's smart. He's clearly got high IQ. I just can't say that I believe in him because he's a small guy. Like, I think Bryce Young is going to be fine. I don't think there's a lot of guys in NFL history who I'm like, that guy was a small guy, but he was awesome. You know, Kyler Murray is not exactly lighting the league on fire anymore. Now, I think that's also, believe it or not, less because of physical ability and more because of leadership and more because of, I don't want to say IQ, but just, I don't know, professionalism. So I'm not exactly all in on Dylan Gabriel, and I don't think that there's really a chance that this guy is an NFL starting quarterback for the long term. And the only guy in that room who I think can be an NFL starting quarterback for the long term is Shedeur. So I'd expect that they go to him at some point. At some point in the season, I'd assume that he gets reps. If I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, just random side note, I'd be doing the decision like I'm LeBron. I'd be doing everything I could to change teams. I'd be bringing my talents to South Beach. No, I wouldn't. The Dolphins are going to suck this year, but that would have convinced me I would have been out of there. I think that's really it. I kind of really just wanted to do a Micah subject here. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, I think we all agree. Probably the third worst thing to happen in Dallas in the entirety of its existence. Check out the new Raiders shelf, by the way. I'm really proud of this, actually. I really like the way this turned out. Ignore how dirty this corner over here is. That's whatever. But yeah, I've done some redecorating. I wanted to show this stuff off. I got this stuff recently. Raiders Wheaties box. You know what I mean? We got all kinds of shit. We got something up there that my girlfriend painted me. We got a Ken Stabler plaque, a Ken Stabler dollar. I got a ring up there. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty juiced about this, and I'm really, really, really excited for this NFL season, man.